there was a rally on the 7th of October in Port Stephens. There was also a rally just on the weekend in Wollongong on the 29th. There are now 2 proposals, both up in the Port Stephens area, covering Swansea up to Port Stephens, over 1,800 square kilometre.
When you say 2 proposals, what do you mean by that?
Sorry, there's a second proposal in the Illawarra. So my apologies. I'm referring to the Illawarra proposal as well.
Right,
so that, the rally on Sunday was specifically in relation to that. Residents opposing the Illawarra offshore wind zone. I'd like you to clarify, why is it that you or your department are not prepared to make a submission? You haven't made a submission in relation to the Hunter offshore wind zone. I'm interested to know, are you going to make a submission? It's been extended now, the due date, from the 16th of October to the 15th of November. Will you make a submission on behalf of the people of New South Wales?
My officials might step in if I say the wrong thing. No, just to be clear, my understanding is that we're not planning on making a submission in relation to that. We're working through. We're obviously having conversations about that. I have spoken with Minister Bowen about these issues. Whether there's a formal submission or not, we are planning.
Have you done any separate studies, Minister? Has there been?
We're just finding out. Just to clarify, but I don't believe so. Whether you've done a submission
or not? Is that what you're clarifying, Minister? Yes. So. While the gentleman's looking, my concern is that the South Australian Government came out very strongly on the 29th of August, making it clear that they were going to oppose the proposal by Bowen for a Southern Ocean offshore wind zone along the South Australian border. They have made it clear what grounds. They've said they're concerned about the marine life, the ecosystems there, the animal life there, and the potential damage to the environment, and indeed to the fishery industry, the tourism industry, and indeed the commercial fishery industry specifically. So they've clearly made their own separate evaluation to reach that point. What evaluations or studies has your department undertaken with respect to the Hunter offshore wind zone, and now with respect to the Illawarra offshore wind zone?
So I can provide you with a little bit more information, which is that there was a submission made in November 2022, which is obviously prior to the election, around the initial...
But that's not you.
No, that's right. No, but that's right. And there's a submission process for the applications for licences, which closes in November. I'm just getting clarity. I think that it might be the case that there is going to be a submission, but I don't want to mislead you.
The South Australian Government has undertaken their own separate studies. That's not the approach that's taken.
But
you've decided not to take any separate studies. You've got a whole department at your perusal, Minister, and you don't see the need to be clear in your mind that there won't be the type of damage. The South Australian Government's clearly concerned about marine life damage and damage to the environment there along the coast as a result of what's been proposed by Bowen. You're not equally concerned that there will be the same damage along the Illawarra coastline and Port Stephens?
I'm concerned about all environmental impact. I'm the Environment Minister as well as the Energy Minister and Climate Change Minister.
Absolutely.
I'm concerned about all of that. But we have different processes in different states. South Australia, again, can make their own decisions in relation to this. There's a process being worked through federally, and we are having input into that, and I'm sure that my officials can take you through more of that this afternoon.
Minister, has the member for Port Stephens approached you about this?
In what?
Has she approached you about the Hunter offshore wind zone? Has she had any discussions with you?
MP's talked to me about all of these issues, and yes, of course she's talked to me about it.
Has she raised concerns? Is she supportive of the project?
She's wanting to. Well, I'm not going to verbal her. You'd need to ask her. The point that I would say is that she is a very good local member who's very in tune with her local community. She's aware of the concerns within her community, and she has articulated those to me.
Have any of the Labor MPs in the Illawarra approached you equally about the...
I speak to my local colleagues all the time. Some of them
specifically about this.
Sure, yeah. If you let me finish, I'll answer the question. Yes, MPs have raised this with me, both questions, concerns, some more positive than others just saying, well, how are we managing that?
Have you or your department to instigate your own separate study?
As I said, we're doing...
whether you would support or not support. You're indicating you're supporting Bowen. You're supporting the actual...
No, what I've indicated is that offshore wind is an opportunity, and the challenges that we've got with getting to renewable energy and then the future impact in New South Wales. It is not something that I want to just rule out of hand. I would make the point that offshore wind has a long way to go.
But on what basis are you going to? When will you make your
Well,
decision?
I'm just saying.
Minister,
I'm just saying.
said to me there's no studies. You're not undertaking any separate studies.
I think I've just said to you that there has been some submissions that are made, which means that there has been some study.
From the coalition government.
Yes.
In November
If you let me finish. And I believe that there is other work that's being undertaken, which I'm happy for the Secretary to take you through if you'd like to. I'm not aware of that. Well, that's what I'm saying. So don't say that there's nothing happening. There is something happening. I'm trying to provide information to you in relation to the issues that are being raised.
Make a submission by the 15th of November. Residents have been invited to make submissions by the 15th of November.
I'm getting that information. I'm not aware about where we're up to, but I think the answer is yes.
The department is compiling responses from across the different agencies. The submission has not yet been made, and obviously we'll discuss that with the Minister's
It'll be made public,
office.
of course, won't it?
That's a decision for the Minister and for the Commonwealth.
Yeah, it's also a
You'll make it
decision for the
public, won't you?
Commonwealth.
I mean, it affects thousands.
Well, I haven't. So okay,
residents down in Illawarra.
I'm waiting to see it. I haven't seen it. My general default position is that if we can make these public things, we do. But I would also make the point that some of these matters are matters for the Commonwealth in relation to what they do, and I cannot speak on behalf of the Commonwealth in terms of the way that they wish to treat government submissions.
The New South Wales government will have to play a big role here because obviously,
if it ends up proceeding, yes, of course.
If it proceeds, you'll end up having full carriage of the onshore component.
There's a lot of work that would need to be undertaken. We're a long way from there. We're a long way from there.
You have to undertake your own separate
Which, of
studies.
course, we would do that work. Let's understand anything that then becomes an issue for onshore becomes part of our planning system with a very rigorous EIS process that would need to work through. We're a long way from that.
I'm just interested to know, Minister, you're very concerned about the Kosciuszko National Park, okay? You've jumped to protect that
I am
park,
concerned about
but
many things.
I don't see the same interest with the marine life and the beautiful pristine coastline of both Illawarra and Port
Well, I'm
Stephens.
sorry.